Well, then everything, you know, would happen subsequent to that. Everything falls apart. All this stuff about plagiarism, which is one thing, but beyond that, I mean, my sister-in-law is visiting with us now. She's an English teacher, and for her that was like, hey, you know, what are you talking about? Plagiarism? That's the mortal sin, you know, for an English teacher, right? And but for a politician, it's probably not the worst crime. And but this other issue about the 300,000, how are you going to deal with it? I mean, it just became apparent to me, especially at the time. I felt this is not going to work. These guys are not going to make it. The party has to have the opportunity to put somebody else in. I went to Dick Waddens. We had a number of conversations. We were pretty much simpatico for a while. Dick did not like either one of those candidates. I'm assuming he still doesn't. I don't know. I'm just telling you what he told me at the time. And so we were thinking, well, like, how are we going to do this? I mean, what can we do? We got to get a better candidate. These guys are not going to win. We need a candidate. And so the whole thing about, well, you know, let's encourage them to drop out, or at least say they'll drop out if they're not ahead, assuming neither one would have been at that point in time, and then the party could have put somebody in that they want. Now they still can, of course, but the problem for me was, what's the or else? You see, I can't wait. I couldn't wait. The or else was, I will run. And you couldn't wait another 2 weeks, every single day, or every single hour that you are not working toward this goal of a real campaign, a legitimate campaign, raising as much money as you can, doing as much as you need to do an organization with this done. You make it as I keep saying, a beau geste. And I do not want to make it a beau geste. So, I had a timeline. I know, I mean, I keep hearing ultimatum. I kept thinking of it more as a request, but, you know, I understand that it certainly could be perceived that way. At any rate, they chose not to accept it. I believed, and I still believe, I had no choice. This is, now as time has gone by, I have to tell you that it has become ever more apparent to me. And as I think about it, I look back over all of the events, all of the discussions, and I think, what was I really going through that for? Because in reality, it isn't just so much of can they win, it really is should they win. Now there's the question you and I have to ask ourselves. Should they? Are these the people we believe, no matter what, I know they are Republicans, so therefore, what the hell? Doesn't matter what they are individually, doesn't matter what their character is, doesn't matter integrity, none of that matters. They're the Republicans, and by God, Tom Tancredo's ruining it. Well, I'm telling you, Tom Tancredo, I do not believe I imploded the Republican Party. I think they did a great job on their own. Okay? And I have to promise you, I mean, I was doing what I could do. Whatever Scott asked me, I did. Whatever the party asked me, I did. And now I think back, and I wish I had never done that. But I was still operating in that sort of, well, let's, you know, we got to do it because Hickenlooper's the worst thing and all that sort of thing. But you guys, sometimes the party asks too much. And it has for me. That's where I am. You all are in different places, or maybe you're there, I don't know. I'm just telling you what motivates me, what were the decisions I made, and why I made them. And they're complicated, and I wish it was as clear as it, you know, just a 1, 2, 3 thing, but it's not. It's a process. It's an evolutionary process. And I think back now, and I wish I had made other decisions, and I wish I'd done other things. And as Mike Rosen always says, well, I wish I were taller. Hey, it doesn't always work, no matter what you wish. So, there we are. Now, I offer you an option. If you do not feel good about the alternatives that you have on that ballot. And you may be absolutely dead. You may think that one of the other guys is just the greatest guy in the whole world. Great, wonderful, you know, support it, do whatever you can for it. But I will tell you, for a lot of people, I think they feel as though they're sick of making these kinds of Hobson's choices. And I hope for some people I offer, to them anyway, a choice where they can feel good about the decision. Whether it works or not, whether I become the governor or not, the one thing I can tell you is that what I tell you about who I am and what I will do is something you can take to the bank. Not because I'm telling you that, but because I do have a long, long history in politics, both in state, in executive branch, and the and congressional offices that I've held. And I voted on probably, I don't know, 20,000 things over that course of time. Unfortunately, I hate that because it goes to show you how many laws are constantly, flooding out of these bodies, legislative bodies. I see Ted there, and he knows that one of the things that I remember in the state legislature, people would say all the time, because I introduced and passed, the first year I was there, I passed the 6-bill limitation. It's down to what, 5 now? Am I right? 10? And the great, oh my goodness, the opposition I had from that was amazing, because people kept saying, hey, I'm elected to make laws. That's what I'm here for, making laws. And that's what they thought. And I kept saying, no, not really, it's not, there's no commandment. Go forth and make laws. No, not Moses. You really shouldn't be advancing in that direction, I don't think. And so, I see this gentleman standing up, and I get the idea that this is my time that we can some Q&A. At any rate, all I'm going to mention is that my life in politics especially has been one dedicated to a certain set of ideas, not always perfect, I'll be the first one to tell you, but as much as I can do and as hard as I could work toward a goal, and that was less government, more freedom. That's it. Thank you.
Clearly, your best known issue is fairly controversial on immigration, but you also hold controversial views on things like personhood, which was defeated 3-1 last time. So given some of these positions, how do you plan to craft a message that resonates with mainstream voters into the general election?
Yeah. Well, of course, there we go back to this whole idea of what can I say to make people vote for me even if I have to tell them a lie? I'm not gonna. And if you disagree with me basically on these issues, you will not. That's okay. I am not happy about the possibility of winning an election based on a nuanced campaign. I will leave that to other candidates.
Well, what's the positive message then?
I just told you. More freedom, less government. I mean, and by the way, I think many of the things I say are positive to a lot of people, just not to some others. That's the way of life.
Tom, yeah. I love listening to you personally. You're one of the best speakers in Colorado politics. You're amazingly charismatic.
I think there's a butt coming.
There definitely is a butt coming. But I want to put that out there. I also agree with you that I don't think you owe the Republican Party anything if you feel they're departing from your values. The thing here, though, is that the values we hold in this group that you're giving lip service to, freedom over more government, and on your signature issue, which is immigration. And I understand you have your views on immigration, but you justify restricting immigration, not just on restricting cultural assimilation, but you've repeatedly said that we should restrict immigration to protect jobs and keep wages from being suppressed.
Yeah.
And so my question to you is, how is this view that you've repeatedly said, restrict immigration to protect jobs, keep wages from being suppressed, in any way compatible with free market conservative principles?